there! It took from the very beginning of human history to 1803 for humans to reach 1 billion people. But only by 1927 humans reached 2 billion people. By only 1960 humans reached 3 billion. By only 1975 we reached 4 billion. By only 1987, 5 billion. By only 1999, 6 billion. By 2011, 7 billion. And we have 7.8 billion in 2021. So the world human population is accelerating at what some consider an alarming rate. To address this viewpoint, I paraphrase from a talk by science author Charles C. Mann. An outbreak is when a population or species exceeds the bounds of natural selection. And outbreaks always end badly. Put a few protozoa into a petri dish full of nutrients. In their natural habitat, soil or water, their environment constrains them. But in the petri dish, they have superfluous nutrients and no natural enemies. They relentlessly eat and reproduce until bang! They hit the edge of the petri dish, at which point they drown in their own waste and or starve from lack of resources. From the viewpoint of biology, we are fundamentally like protozoa in a petri dish. We're not special. Everything that we, in our vanity, think make us different does not matter. We're an outbreak species. We're going to hit the edge of the petri dish. Simple as that. Others note that moderate mice or rat populations live peacefully among themselves, humans, and other animals. But when their populations get out of control, they gobble up others' food, ruin food caches with feces and urine, neglect their young, battle among themselves, incite their killing by humans and other animal species, and when all food runs out, resort to cannibalism. They parallel that with the dramatic increase in human population, so warning us to the danger of a similar fate. Some spurn this comparison, proclaiming that we are far more intelligent than such creatures and thus can use ingenuity to conquer these problems. And secondly, much of the world is sparsely inhabited, such as Greenland and American states such as Wyoming, New Mexico, and parts of Nevada. Therefore, if everyone spreads out evenly, we can comfortably accommodate 10 to 20 times as many people. However, I shall give an analogy before giving my response. In military strategy, a choke point is a geographical feature on land such as a valley or bridge, or passage through a critical waterway such as a strait, which an armed force is compelled to pass through to reach its objective. The substantially narrowed front greatly decreases its effectiveness by making it harder or impossible to bring superior numbers to bear. Choke points thwart much larger groups as they cannot advance any further without first circumnavigating the choke point. Now, there are natural choke points that prohibit population expansion. Chief among these is our being limited to planet Earth. Colonizing other planets, including Mars, is impossible, as I've explained in my post on Mars. Natural choke points on Earth, which prohibit large populations, include virtually the entire continent of Antarctica due to extreme cold. Others, such as large areas of the Sahara Desert and Danakil Desert, Ethiopia, are prohibitive due to great heat, dryness, salt content, volcanic activity, etc. Other areas prohibit large populations due to pollution, extreme pollution, and or toxic waste, such as Centralia, Pennsylvania, Wittenoom, Australia, and parts of Chernobyl, Ukraine. Certainly off limits for mass populations are the vast areas of farmland which need to be left alone in order to feed heavily inhabited regions. Another thing that discourages people from spreading out is that sparsely populated areas are often more costly to live in than densely populated areas. Sparse areas often have poor growing soil and undrinkable water. So food is more expensive since it must be shipped much farther, and water more expensive since water pipes must be far longer. Electricity and heating costs are more expensive since electrical and gas lines need to be much longer to reach relatively isolated areas. And there is a lack of job opportunities. Some jobs are impossible to evenly distribute, such as fishing industries, which must be located along coastlines, obviously. That should be obvious. And transportation expenses are higher as access to needed places are farther. A clearly man-made choke point is people's dissatisfaction with other than what they consider optimal areas. For example, although Canada, Iceland, and Russia are certainly livable areas, because they're colder, most people would rather battle other people for warmer climates than peacefully spread out. People do not cooperate, refuse to cooperate. All these factors culminate in situations like those in Hong Kong, where many people live in cage houses or so-called coffin houses with an entire floor space of only 1 times 2 meters, around 3.25 times 6.5 feet, and 1 meter, 3.25 feet high, whereas a person cannot even stand up in it. Let's not wait until most of Earth's population is forced to live in something even worse. Vertical 6 feet tall times 2 feet times 1 foot literal coffins, while others wait for them to die. Some acknowledge the danger of overpopulation, but say that first world overpopulation is worse than third world overpopulation because we cause far more pollution through cars, trucks, etc., and produce far more garbage because of consumerism. First, I completely disagree that our overpopulation is worse. 2 points here. All overpopulation is bad. Third world people want everything that we have, and so there is a push for third world economic development, which is happening right now. So it's likely inevitable that third world populations will eventually produce as much pollution and garbage as we do. Also, starvation rates and rates of deadly diseases such as AIDS are far higher percentage-wise among third world populations. Secondly, there's a significant difference between the average American white and non-white. Americans who conduct voluntary population control are almost exclusively whites who are extra intelligent. While this goes on, Hispanics have twice the white birth rate and blacks have twice the percentage born out of wedlock, which fatherless children commit most crimes and whose irresponsible single mothers leech off welfare. Preaching voluntary population control alone would do nothing but change population demographics into those dominated by Mexicans and Mormons. If it takes fascism, spaying and neutering people, forcing them back to their countries of origin by military might and closing the borders, and cutting off all financial aid to coerce others into controlling themselves, then that is what must be done. Otherwise, we will have a dramatic increase in abortion, cramped conditions, disease, starvation, war, and other ills. And humans have made numerous animal species become extinct. Many more are on the verge of extinction. What about them? Love is not allowing these things to happen. Love is preventing them by any means necessary. I believe that the primary reason most people bring numerous children into this world is not love. Rather, it is their biological urges, pride, or both. Imagine an illiterate caveman pounding his chest while looking at his children saying, "Look what I make! I'm fertile. I'm powerful. I'll make more eggs. I'll live forever." Rather, the only true way to live forever is being born again unto the Lord Jesus Christ. Romans 6:23. If most people are motivated by love, why do so many people lack even one friend, let alone a romantic partner? Why do more and more people live alone? And those who are allegedly motivated by love can adopt instead. Love is sacrificial. And since so few are willing to sacrifice anything, I say others ought to be forced to sacrifice for the greater good.